So acoustics of building. The acoustics properties of a confined space such as hall or room have marked effect on music and speech. It is well known that in some halls the speech delivered is quite intelligible to a listener, and such halls are said to be acoustically good. On the other hand, in some halls the speech is unintelligible and confusing. Such halls are said to be acoustically bad. The essential features for a good acoustics are: the sound heard must be sufficiently loud in every part of the hall. The successive syllables spoken must not overlap. The quality of the sound must remain unaltered. There should be no undesirable echoes. There should be no concentration of sound in any part of the hall, and undue noise must not be present. To fulfill these acoustics demand, following conditions are to be secured in the construction of a auditorium or public halls or rooms. The first one is optimum reverberation. A common defect in hall and auditorium is the undue persistence of sound. A short sound made in a hall reaches a listener directly as well as after successive reflections from the walls, ceiling and floors of the hall. Therefore, the listener receives a series of sounds of diminishing intensity, since every part of the sound energy is lost at each reflections. Similarly, when a prolonged sound is made in the hall, some of the sound waves reach the listener directly while others reach after successive reflections. The listener therefore receives an increasing sound intensity. After a few seconds, the energy emitted per second from the source becomes equal to the energy absorbed by the walls and the other materials in the hall, and that is kept through the doors, open windows and ventilators per second. Then the intensity of sound becomes steady, and when the source is cut off, the sound heard does not stop instantaneously but falls off gradually because the ear continues to receive the successive reflection for some time. So this gradual dying out of sound is known as reverberation. The time taken for the sound to fall from average intensity to below the minimum audibility, or to a fall to 10 to the power minus 6 of its initial value, is called the period of reverberation. The time taken for the sound to fall from average intensity to below the minimum audibility, or to fall to 10 to the power minus 6 of its initial value, is called the period of reverberation. If the period of reverberation is large, then a rapidly following sequence of short sounds such as syllables in a speech will overlap. 7. made an extensive study of the problem of reverberation, and he found that there is an optimum period of reverberation depending upon the size of the hall at which best results are obtained. This period is greater for music than for speech. For example, in a hall of 44 lakh 4 lakh feet skew volume, the maximum intelligibility of a species obtained for reverberation period between 1.0 to 1.5 second, while music is most appealing between 1.5 to 2.0 second. And if and below this value the intensity of sound is weak and the music appears lifeless, while above this the syllables overlap and become indistinct. Now we see the Seven's formula. Sabin, that is, he observed that the period of reverberation depends upon the size of the hall and the absorbing power of the object in it and its walls, and he showed that time period of reverberation is t equals to 0.16 v by a. Here t is the time period of reverberation in second and v is the volume of the hall in meter cube, and a is the total absorption of sound in hall, and it is given by that